Hi, my name is Susan Rushton and this is Olio. And before I go any further, I need to explain what Olio means. It's short for olla podrida, which is Spanish for rotten bowl, which I always just get such a kick out of. It's a Spanish-Portuguese dish with essentially everything in the world in it. Pork in all its iterations, bacon, sausage, pig's feet, chicken, and of course chickpeas, cabbage, carrots, beans, etc., etc. And in other words, everything except prunes and peaches. That's one definition. Another definition is that olio is what comes in between acts of a melodrama. So you might have somebody juggling, you might have somebody singing, you might have somebody doing a skit, and none of it has anything to do with the melodrama. So in other words, it's apples, oranges, and a monkey wrench. So welcome to my monkey wrench. Today, my guest is someone who has been here quite often and is one of my favorite involved people in Auburn. This is Rosalie Wohlfromm. Thank you, Rosie. And if you are interested in emailing her, her email is rwohlfromm@att.net. rwohlfromm@att.net. And Rosie, how long have you been in this area?
Well, we built a house in 1980 in Forest Hill, but I moved into Auburn in 1999.
Okay.
And that's when I started to get really involved in the community.
Here in Auburn. And where did you come from before you came to Forest Hill?
Well, I'm originally from New York City.
New York City, here.
Italian from Brooklyn.
Italian from Brooklyn.
But I married a man that I met in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
It's a strange situation. He was from California. I was from New York. We met in Tosco. Long story short, 3 years later, we got married.
Yeah.
And we moved to Oakland, lived there for many years. He had his business there, and I worked. But we wanted to retire up here, like a lot of people do.
Oh.
And unfortunately, my husband passed away in 95.
Oh.
And then I had my dad live with me for a while because, oh my gosh, Susan, you can't live alone. And I said, Pop, I'm 50. I think I can live alone. But he liked it so much, he wanted to come here. And I had him all to myself for 8 months before he passed away.
Oh, dear. Oh. That's not very long.
The
I'm
90s
sorry.
were not very good to me.
Yeah.
But anyway, I moved into Auburn because I worked in Auburn and I volunteered in Auburn. And one of my bosses, because I couldn't come in one day because of snow or whatever, said, why the heck don't you live in Auburn?
Yeah.
And I said, you're probably right.
Yeah.
And the best thing about it
Because I'm getting older, for one thing.
well, that too, and driving. But the one good thing, when I moved into Auburn, my auto insurance went down because I wasn't doing the 40 miles every day.
Yeah.
So it worked out. And I live on a very nice street, and I know practically all my neighbors.
Good.
And I've been very happy.
It's very hard. I can imagine that it would be very hard to live on the street where you live and not know you.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know about that. I'm going to name people now, but Mike Holmes lives right across the street from me.
Yes.
And the elder statesman of Auburn, right? And
Yeah.
he gives me the business all the time, but he's a lovely man.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
So,
Yes.
yeah, I love it.
Yes. And we know, people who are watching us, you who are watching us, have heard of Rosie Wohlfromm, and she wears lots of hats. I wear lots of hats in Auburn, and she's another one who wears lots of hats.
Yes.
Congratulations. Pant, 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 pant. Right? Okay. You are the head, and you are deeply involved with Auburn area Democrats.
Yes.
And so that's auburnareademocrats.com. And we agree that you are on the events committee,
Yeah.
and which is on the board.
Yeah.
How long have you been involved with AuburnAreaDemocrats.com?
Since 90, I think it was 98 or 99.
Okay.
Yeah. And it bothers me that I still meet people who don't even know we exist. And the Auburn Area Democrats have been in existence since 1960.
Okay.
You know, when I'm at the fairgrounds or I'm doing the Mandarin Festival, which we finished, people say, "Really? There are Democrats in Placer County?" And I'm thinking, oh, this has got to end.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I feel it's America. We all exist here, you know.
Yeah.
But, and I also laugh and tell people, you know, I live in Placer County. If I didn't have Republicans as friends, I wouldn't have too many friends.
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, we get along.
Okay. Okay. So and you've been involved for years.
Yeah.
Years and years. And every time, yeah, you say every time you appear someplace, oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So what's coming up with the Auburn Area Democrats as far as the events?
Okay, on the 18th of January, we're having what we call a candidates night for our District 5 supervisorial. God, it's hard for me to say. We're having all 4 candidates come, and it'll be at City Hall at the Rose Room at 7 o'clock. So
7
if you
p.m.?
want to meet, yes,
Yeah,
7
okay.
p.m. If you want to meet them, this is a good way to come, ask questions, and see who you might want to vote for.
Sure. Now, are these Republicans and Democrats?
Well, you know there are no Democrats.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there are 2 no party preference and 2 Republicans.
Okay.
All lovely people,
Wonderful people, even.
you know. We don't have one Democrat on the supervisor board, but you know, it's okay.
Yes.
But we're gaining.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like to say our last election, big election, let's say the presidential elections, the little city of Auburn, we elected Hillary and Biden.
Okay.
Didn't go down the ticket though, you know, but
Right.
at least, you know, the Auburn Area Democrats, we feel like we had a part of that.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
But anyway, the candidates night should be interesting, and it's a great way for people to meet these people.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to vote on March 5th.
Even though there are no Democrats on the ticket, you're allowing them to speak.
Absolutely. And you know, I tell everybody, anybody can come to our meetings. It's open to the public. In fact, this Thursday, we're having a woman from the Insurance Commission Board, and she's going to be talking about fire insurance and the FAIR plan and what the changes are. And I mentioned that this morning at the Medler meeting, and I said, yes, she's going to be there. Yes, it's put on by the Democrats, but you can come.
Yeah.
And a couple of those old guys, okay, where is it? When is it? I'll be there.
Yeah. Good. Good. Now, since you mentioned meddlers,
Yes.
it's possible that people don't know what the meddlers is.
Okay. It's it's a group that's been meeting for many, many years, and it's put on by the Chamber of Commerce. It's at 7 a.m. That's why people say, you go to these things at 7 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm an early bird anyways. But they have the mayor or a city council person, usually the mayor, speak for about 15 minutes. Then you have the supervisor from our district. Currently it's Cindy Gustafson. She speaks for 15 minutes. And then we have a speaker. And the speaker can be from anywhere. We had a person from the school board just today. And you've always learned what's going on. And I like it because I don't have to go to the supervisor meetings anymore or the city council meetings anymore. You get a little synopsis, you know, and you can ask questions and learn about things.
Yes.
I find it very interesting.
I am charmed that Auburn has this.
Oh, I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And you know me. You know I like to be out of the house. I am not... If if I'm at the house too much, I look around and I think, oh, that needs dusting or that needs cleaning. I must be out of the house.
I don't want to dust. I should get out of here. Yeah.
I've never had children, so I'm not a housewifey type of, that's why I started working at Site Wordbusters. I wanted to do a volunteer thing that was not political in nature, and I'm so enjoying it. Well, you do it too,
Yes.
so I know you do.
So, ma'am, what is Site Wordbusters?
Oh, dear, you put me on a spot. It's an organization that was started by Linda LeBeau in this area, and we go to, it's all volunteers, we go into the elementary schools from kindergarten to second grade, and we go work one-on-one with children about their reading. And we figure that if we get them reading by third grade, they will be lifelong readers. And it's so much fun, and I work with kindergartners. I absolutely adore them. I told Linda one time, I said, had I known that I would enjoy children so much, maybe I would have tried to have one.
But they don't stay children.
Well, then she said to me, which is very fun, she said, remember, Rosie, you only have them one day a week.
Yeah. For 10 seconds or something like that, or a minute.
They're so cute, and they're so eager, and they wait for you. I mean, I have one little boy, he's in that chair the minute I walk in the room. And I said, whoa, that's really nice.
Yes.
So.
Yes. And since we're talking about Site Wordbusters,
Yes.
I think it's sitewordbusters.org.
Well, let's see if I have that
If
here.
it's not Site
Yes,
Wordbusters,
it is.
it's sitewordbusters.org.
Yeah.
Site, S-I-G-H-T, wordbusters.org. It's a wonderful organization.
In fact, I mentioned it today at the Medlars when we had the woman from the school board, and she went like that.
Yes.
And because they were talking that our students are not reading at their grade level. And I don't know if we can really truly just blame COVID, but that didn't help. And so their reading and their math skills are not up to par. So, we need volunteers. And I keep telling the men that I know, we need male male influences on these kids too. It shouldn't just always be the women.
Right.
But, I said, one less day of golfing, you can do this.
Yes. But it's you're only supposed to do this for an hour.
Yes.
One day a week.
But we have women. I have a friend who does it 2 days a week.
Yeah. I used to do it 2 days a week.
Yeah.
But
I've not done it, but maybe one day. But I have too many other things going on.
yes.
So.
Yes. Okay. I'm glad you brought up Site Wordbusters.
Yes.
Site Wordbusters. Sitewordbusters.org. Okay. So you are on the Auburn Area Democrats board and for the events committee, AuburnAreaDemocrats.com, and you are also vice president of the League of Women Voters, Placer County.
Yes.
LWDplacercounty.org. LWDplacercounty.org. So what's that? What is the League of Women Voters?
Well, the League of Women Voters had come into existence the minute we got the right to vote.
1920.
And we're more of an educational group. We want to educate people. And it's open to men and women. I remember one guy coming up to me and said, well, it's a women's organization. I said, we welcome men. It's no problem. We're never going to change the name, but we welcome men in our organization too. And it's nonpartisan. We have all of the political organizations involved. At one time we had, I know one person told me, well, that's an offshoot of the Democratic Party. And I said, no.
No.
No. And I've always been a member of the League of Women Voters, even when I lived in Oakland. And I never heard that until I moved here. But anyway,
They probably thought, being in the Sacramento area, not Sacramento, San Francisco area, that it was.
I don't know, but I think it's a great organization, and we get called out all the time whenever more so when the elections are going on because of all the propositions.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember one year we had 18 propositions on the ballot. I thought that was absurd. And I told my husband at the time, I said, how come we're doing? I said, why don't we elect people in Sacramento, in state senate? Why aren't they doing that? And he said, well, you might want to ask them. But, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I also used to always do the precinct work, too, and that was fun. I'm not doing it this time, but...
What do you mean, the precinct work?
Well, work at the polls.
Oh, help people vote. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's always been a rewarding.
Yes.
And the Democrats, and I'm sure the other ones do it too, but we have a great group of young ladies that go to Sierra College and really getting these young people to register to vote.
Good.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
They've done a great job with that. And we don't care whether they register as Democrats or not. We just want them to get
vote.
involved.
Yeah.
Voting is the only way to get your legislatures to listen to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do they know they're doing a good job unless they get votes, right?
Yeah.
And one young person told me, she said, my vote doesn't count. And I said, you realize if 10,000 people thought like you did, this is not good. Not good at all to think that way. Every vote counts.
Yes.
I've always thought that way. Even when I lived in New York City, my dad and I used to, all the time.
Yeah.
He was a staunch Democrat, and I was declined to state or whatever it was at that time, because I didn't know what. And then I volunteered for John Lindsay's campaign when he ran for mayor, and he was a Republican at that time. My father wanted to throw me out of the house.
Oh.
But then years later, I'm married, I'm living in Oakland. My father calls me up. He said, I voted for Rudy Giuliani. I said, Pop? I said, he's a Republican. He's a good Italian boy. And I said, for heaven's sake, so is John Gotti. Would you vote for him too? Anyway, my dad and I used to have these little arguments, but that's Italians, and he would
It's not just Italians, girl.
It's just, that's a normal thing for Italian family. And he would tell people, he said, yeah, this one argues with me, but that's okay. My blood boils, I know I'm alive. I said, I'm doing my part, Pop.
Okay.
It's just the way it is.
Yes.
I miss him a lot.
Yeah,
He was a lot of fun, and he was a great chef.
He's the one who taught you about
cooking. Yeah.
Cooking, yeah.
Yeah, he was really good. Yeah. So anyway,
Garlic and onions. Yes. Okay. I'm convinced that this show will be showing toward the middle of January.
Okay.
And this is 2024. Happy New Year. You said Candidates Night, January 18th?
Yeah.
Okay. At 7 p.m. in the Rose Room, the Auburn area Democrats are putting that on. Does it cost?
No.
Okay.
No, we don't. No. And then another time, if anybody's interested in the whole region, on February 1st at, I think it's 5 o'clock or 5:30, the League of Women Voters is having all of the we've invited all of the candidates that are running for supervisor from all the 3 districts that are up for election.
Wow.
And that's another way to meet these people.
Sure.
So,
and where will that be?
at the Maidu Community Center.
And where is that? In
Oh gosh, I have it here.
Rockland?
It is...
And tell them.
It's at 1550 Maidu Drive in Roseville. And it starts at 5 p.m., excuse me. So.
And that's also free.
Yeah.
Okay.
Free.
155
1550 Maidu Drive.
Maidu Drive in Roseville.
Yes.
Okay. And this is something that that the League of Women Voters is always doing?
Oh, yeah, yeah. We go around to different, they get involved in events. We were at the home show a couple of years ago, or last year, I can't remember. And people came up and asked us about ourselves, and, we gave them literature, emphasizing voting. That's basically what we do. We want to educate people and say, listen, your vote really counts. And we don't have really a lot of, political discussions about who's running or whatever, but propositions is another story.
Yes.
And you know how they're written in legalese, and people say, what does it mean?
Yeah.
So that's what we do.
Okay.
And,
So you translate it.
A little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
We give them the pros, the cons. We say who's for it, not for it, how much is it going to cost versus what's whatever. And it breaks it down, and people appreciate that. They're always being asked to come to various places. In fact, the senior center had us there one time. And that's another thing I'm hoping to keep. The senior center needs money. They need either the county money or state money. And people tell me, they don't get anything? I said, we get zip. Nothing. We went to the Board of Supervisors and really rallied to get on this year's budget, which is going to be a stretch. But, we need either a county building that we can rent for $1 a year like they had at once at DeWitt, where they tore it down.
Yeah.
But, we pay $4,000 a month in rent.
Yeah.
And that's just unsustainable.
Right.
So that's why I like the fact that the DeWitt Theater is so close. If we can get that refurbished, and maybe, we can have fundraisers there. We can have a synergy. We have a lot of wonderful, talented people in the senior center. And we can put on shows. I can see things like that happening, but we need help.
Yeah.
And
Do you think you could be in a show?
No. I always help in the background.
Okay.
I'm not one to be in front of the thing. I can't sing or dance or whatever.
Okay.
But emceeing maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's just because I remember going to the DeWitt Theater when they had movies, and I went there when they had music and more. They had the young students, putting, and I even understand they had a couple of graduations there one time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cute little theater. It just needs a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it's the last vestige of World War II. And I think, to turn it, to, just destroy it, makes no sense to me.
I think it's getting its money. They have this really good group working
Well, we're
with it.
trying very hard. In fact, they're having a chamber mixer at the Music and More the same January 18th that night, and the people that are for the DeWitt Theater are putting it on.
Oh,
so
good.
they're trying to get the word out.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even know that that exists. And that area of North Auburn, they're putting in more and more homes. And I'm thinking it's really going to be a neighborhood one day. And why not have a theater there for people to just walk to and enjoy? There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm from the Lower East Side of Manhattan, before we moved into Brooklyn, and we had a theater that was close by.
Yeah.
My sister used to laugh. She said, "You know why we went every Saturday, don't you?" And I said, "Why?" She said, "Because it was the only time my mother and father could get together." They got rid of us for 3 hours.
So they did crossword puzzles together.
You think?
Maybe.
But,
So I'm wondering if you have ever had arguments with people about what you're involved
I try
in.
not to. I really try not to. I know at the beginnings when we were down at the home shows and things, people would walk by and, not very nice. And But people have gotten a little bit better now, too. In fact, I had a wonderful experience this last Mandarin Festival. This gentleman came in and he said, I want to have a chat. And I said, that's what I'm here for. The really funny thing was he had a cane and he went down on his one knee. And I looked at him and I was sitting, you know, started to get up and I've been working 3 whole days there.
Yeah.
I started to get up and he said, no, I'll come down to you. And he was down there on one knee and I thought to myself, oh my God, people are going to think he's asking me to marry him. I don't know. But he wanted to talk about abortion.
Mm-hmm.
And he started saying, well, you know, in the Bible it says, and the gal that was with me started to groan, and I looked at her and I said, don't do that. So I let him talk, and I said, okay. I said, I'm not for abortion. I said, nobody I know is for abortion. We're for choice. That's a difference. I said, you're talking to a Catholic here. I said, I always said I'd never have an abortion. But then again, I don't know. I said, I've never been raped. I don't have a health problem. I said, things like this happen, things might change. And then I gave him 2 instances that I knew of personally about people who have gotten abortions. And we had and he didn't interrupt me. Oh my God, a man who did not interrupt. And
you hear that?
I was so happy about that. And we had just, you know, and then he got up and I said, well, that's all I got. What do you think? And he shook my hand and he said, you got me thinking. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is what we should be doing. We should be able to go back and forth and talk without... you know, recrimination, without calling each other stupid or, you know, that's a dumb thing to
hitting
think.
somebody. Or,
because I think conversations are really lost in today's world. I really do. And it's really sad. And I also wish that a lot more, I mean, I don't know where the Republicans meet. I know where the women Republicans meet, but where the men go, I have no idea. I think there should be more of this back and forth, you know, and just chat and talk to each other in a civilized, respectful manner.
And that's possible.
It is possible. It is possible.
And it's helpful.
My feeling is the more you talk to each other, the more you're going to find out you have a lot in common. We may come around from a different ways. I mean, who doesn't want to have their child have the best education in the world?
Right.
I mean, who doesn't want, you know, democracy to thrive? But it just depends on how we go about it. I don't know. It's very simple to my way of thinking.
Yes.
Apparently it's not.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the Senior Center, the events committee and the board of Auburn Area Democrats.com, the vice president of the League of Women Voters. Do you think you'll ever be president?
That's a big job.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The vice president isn't a small one.
No.
My. But the League of Women Voters, LWD, placercounty.org, and it's not Democrat and it's not Republican. It's the League of Women Voters.
That's right.
It's nonpartisan. Really. Even though you don't think so, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. And the candidates' night is on January 18th at 7 p.m. in the Rose Room. Okay. Well, Rosalie Wohlfromm, thank you very much for joining me. It's been a pleasure.
You're
and
very welcome.
It's also been easy because you're a wonderful speaker. You're a wonderful talker. You always have something to say, and it's just great. Thank you very much for joining me.
You're very welcome, sweetie.
And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again.